Sagittarius. This is Revan, otherwise known as Cosmic Alignment, and this is your weekly forecast for the week of January 7th to the 13th of 2019. So in the first part of this forecast, I'm going to go ahead and go over the major planetary energies and configurations that will be affecting the collective. And in the second part, I will be contextualizing these planetary energies as experienced from the perspective of you, Sagittarius. So, of course, knowing your own planetary positions will give us an even further layer of depth as to how these can be even further personalized for you. But just knowing the forecast for your sun, moon, and or rising sign should give you a pretty sufficient feel for the energies affecting you and how you'll be experiencing them. So let's get into it, Sagittarius. So this is the first part of this forecast. This week we see again a Capricorn stellium. We see Mercury, the logical mind, our thinking in Capricorn, very business oriented, very down to earth and grounded. Saturn, the sun, Pluto, South Node. We see what, 1, 2, 3, 4 planets. This is 40% of the cosmos. Let your intuition sit with that. Capricorn is the ambitious businessman that wants to get things done. Very practical, pragmatic, down to earth and centered. Very, very pragmatic. There's no idealism, no big grandiose ideology. There is what's practical and what's concrete. So this energy is still carrying us forward into this week, and it's interesting to note that this Friday, which is 1/11, by the way, we have a really eventful Friday, 1/11. First of all, I want to note that the sun, the spirit, the creative energy within the cosmos, the heartbeat, will be conjunct Pluto, the underworld, evolution, death, rebirth, and the underworld. This is signaling that there is an emphasis, a deep, deep desire and emphasis on embodying our purpose, on seeking complete metamorphosis of self. And also, we are wanting to go ahead and actualize our purpose out in society in some type of sociological, cultural context, while we're being pushed and urged to embody our truth and our uniqueness in society, in our culture, and integrating our uniqueness into this matrix and transforming and evolving it, especially us Pluto, Scorpio generation. If you were born from November 1985 to November 1995, this is you, Pluto Scorpio generation is here to completely redo what it means to be a human working in this career in a cultural, sociological context. We're here to transmute Scorpio, the underworld of our ancestry and our culture and society. We are the byproduct of what came before us, and we're here to transform it, transmute it for the next generation, which is you guys, Pluto Sag, you starseeds, channeling and downloading all that incredible wise information and knowledge. Well, we're prepping the world for you, Pluto Scorpio. So anyways, sorry I went on a little rant there, but this Pluto and Sun conjunction is really just a reflection of like this deep undertone of wanting evolution and transformation right now. This Capricorn stellium, this very down-to-earth pragmatic energy, and this Pluto Sun in Cap as well, Capricorn, landing the same week is correlated because all this energy has to do with the bottom line. It is as if we got to a point where we now realize that we're not going to move forward unless we use our own personal will to really take control of our lives and mold and create our destiny by the strength of our own will. our purpose and destiny will not be actualized in itself. We have to put in effort, and at the same time, we're also learning the limitations of this purpose. While we are meant to do certain things, we also are meant to not do certain other things. We are becoming self-aware and becoming aware of our role within the collective. And this is the Capricorn energy and archetype, is finding our role, our function within the collective, thereby embodying and expressing our truth, and in a way being of service to the collective. The second major energy shift occurring this week is Venus entering Sagittarius on Monday, the 7th of January. So this energy, after Venus having gone after and through all that underworld, all that transmutation in terms of the friends, the relationships, having to completely detox and purge, and then having gone through a beautiful trine with North Node Cancer and Chiron Pisces, has been uplifted, spiritualized, and lightened up. Now we see it move into Sagittarius. What does this reflect? A deep need to discover and actualize personal truth in the form of a guiding philosophy of life in order to have a core sense of meaning and purpose. There is a restlessness that seeks perpetual expansion. This is Sagittarius energy. So there's a commitment to your personal growth and development. This vibration makes you feel connected to the energies that are at play in the universe. Now, this Venus-Sag energy, it must evolve. To evolve, it must learn that your truth is your truth. You have your perspective and your own truth, and sometimes Sag can be a little dogmatic. So with this transit, it's important to remember that your truth is your truth, your own, and that everybody else has their own truth from their own perspective. So while there are a lot of other aspects, I will just mainly point those two major aspects that I feel characterize this week, which is one about getting real self-aware about what we're up to in this life and taking some actions accordingly. Hey Sagittarius, so this is the second part of your weekly forecast in which I contextualize the major aspects that will be affecting your archetype, specifically Sagittarius. So the main one, I mean, this is just your season. So I feel like with Jupiter in Sag, this is still your season. And now with Venus, the planet of love, relationships, and all that is pleasurable and good in your sign, Sagittarius, this Monday, the 7th of January, signals that it might be a time for some romance, or at the same time, some self-love. I know this is like a completely opposite interpretation, those two, but really Venus is about love and self-love, the creative expression of that joy and pleasure that we feel inside. This is why Venus correlates to beauty, harmony, the arts, beauty, your own creativity, your aesthetic, your musical taste, your aesthetic in general. It's what's pleasurable and beautiful in the eye of the beholder. So this energy coming into your own sign, Sag, is like signaling like a beauty, a creativity, some type of love, harmony coming into your own personal sphere. Do you feel a lot more creative right now? Do you feel like you're just feeling yourself a lot more than usual? I feel that that's Venus and Sag. Venus makes us very aesthetically pleasing, beautiful, creatively self-expressed, artistic, and this is in your area of philosophy, higher learning, spirituality, expansion of your own mental awareness and consciousness. So this might signal a phase where, again, you're always learning, Sag, right? You're always looking to expand your consciousness and your awareness, but Venus is more about the creative arts, the aesthetics. You know, think about like art museums. that are more, you can say, hitting an undertone, a quality of the culture at the time, but also conveying it in this beautiful, aesthetically pleasing form. This Venus in Sag correlates to something similar to that. A beauty, a creative self-expression that takes this philosophical, spiritual flavor and context to it. So this might be a time to create art. Create art that speaks your truth, that expresses your worldview and your perspective that you've gained through your experience in life. Venus also signals relationships, friendships, social circles. That's why initially I had mentioned that it might mean somebody's coming into your life, or a time for romance and such. And it might signal that. And being that it's in your own home sign, Sag, it might mean that you're attracting these types of people. Whether you have a moon sign in Sag or ascendant in Sag, there's something very attractive about you at this time. It's almost like all eyes on you. There's just, for some reason, this part of the season, you're just shining, and your beauty, your aesthetically pleasing side is just shining. That's just, I don't know. I know this sounds might be kind of funny, but that's as best as I can put it. I think we all know, kind of like some people just always have that glow. Usually that's because they have that Venus in the ascendant. There's just like that creative beauty that basically just has them personify this kind of modeling superstar quality. And so during this time with Venus in Sag, this is your season in Sag to have that experience. But it takes on this more spiritual, philosophical context and framework. Anyways, this was your weekly forecast for the week of January 7th to the 13th of 2019. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you got something out of this. If you did, please go ahead and like. If you want to get these weekly notifications of when these weekly forecasts get published, go ahead and subscribe. And I hope you have a great fucking week, Sag. Peace out.